Salutations, my fellow creations. Your friendly neighborhood witch is back at it again, and it's a lazy day here at witchwatchgamesllc.gov. And I decided to do another episode of People Wrote Something on Reddit and Asked to Be Judged by the Internet. Or something like that. So I got asked by somebody to do another Am I the thing. And, sure. I said, why not? Because he said I was funny, and I crave validation.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it.
Disclaimer. I am fully aware that people will doctor things on the internet to make other people look like the assholes. I'm simply reading what's on the page and making a comment about what is on the page. Who am I to judge? Anyway. So let's dive in. Am I the asshole for switching food with my wife at a wedding? You're already off to a bad start. If it's your wedding, we're already off to a bad start. Who knows? Maybe we'll dive in. My wife and I were invited to a wedding hosted by our close friends. Okay, so it's not your wedding. So better start, because if you were switching food with the bride and she didn't ask, probably to save money, the same meal was served to everyone and no changes were allowed to be made unless someone suffered an allergy to food, lobster, mashed potatoes, great beans. I'm assuming you mean green beans. But that's reasonable. Changes are expensive and wedding planning is tedious. For anybody that's actually planned someone else's wedding, their own wedding, it's a lot. I absolutely hate lobster, so my wife and I agreed that she would take my helping of lobster and I'd take her helping of mashed potatoes. Okay. We didn't tell our friends. They've been so busy with the wedding that it seemed frivolous to tell them, and when we went, we simply scooped the respective food onto the other's plate. Well, I guess they saw us and the groom confronted us after the reception for our unprofessional display. My wife and I had our baby with us, so we just left rather than engage in a fight, but both of our friends are mad at us and thought we acted like children by not eating what was given. What's the big deal? You're making a bigger problem for yourself than your friends just doing what they wanted to do. Why does it matter to you? Unless you guys did something else to, like, really piss off the groom, based on what is written here, you didn't do anything wrong. You simply exchanged food that you didn't like with each other. It seemed like not the most fair trade between the two of you, but it definitely, something is missing here, because the groom had no business caring. You have significantly bigger things to deal with. Why would you even remotely care about that? That's dumb. Yeah, no, that's dumb. That's stupid. Am I the asshole for talking back to a customer and returning their tip? Okay. I, 23 female, work in a small town bar and grill. It's a fairly large establishment for a town of 1,000 and can seat close to 200 people. We only had 3 servers for a Saturday night, meaning 1 server per section. The section I was responsible for seats 52 people, 8 total tables. That seems fair. That's reasonable. On a busy night, sure. While also handling the bar seats 20 and to-go orders, typically 1 order every 5 to 10 minutes outside of our assigned 40 plus customers each to care for. As you can expect, things fell behind. That can get pretty busy. So if you have only your 8 tables and let's say like all of your tables are full, you're also handling the bar. With a full house, that's a lot. And then to-go orders on top of that is just a lot to keep track of. I had a group of younger friends come in together and they asked if they could sit at a different table. I kindly explained to them that I'd be happy to move them. However, with people still waiting to order food and needing drinks, it would be about 20 minutes before I could bust and sanitize the table to swap them. 5 minutes later, they switched to the dirty table anyways. Patience. Be patient. Obviously, somebody's busy. Like, the world doesn't revolve around you, no matter how old you are. I'm sorry, it doesn't. I was unaware until another table of mine that had stayed behind to chat handed me $20 saying, I overheard your conversation with the other customers. They have moved, and I don't think they'll tip. I thanked the man and quickly resumed my task. After catching up roughly 15 minutes later, I went to their table, cleaned off everything, and took their order. Okay, so far, the people that move tables without acknowledging the fact that they should not have done that yet, you're fine. Like, you're doing exactly what you're supposed to do. You told them that it was going to take some time to clean off the tables. They didn't listen. They're sitting at a dirty table. You went to clean the table. You took their orders. Okay, cool. It sounds like just shitty customers at this point. Sounds just like bad people. One of the ladies looked at me and screamed, asking, what the fuck is wrong with me? Okay. I kindly reiterated that I had explained before, due to my current task list for those already waiting and only having a total of 3 servers in the restaurant, I was in fact serious when I said it would take me close to 20 minutes to clear out a new table for them. And by moving them, I now gained another table in my section that further set me back. The woman then proceeded to say, if you can't handle your job, with the air quotes, maybe get a new one. Catch these hands. Stop shitting on people in the service industry so much. They're bare bonesing it as best they can. When was this? This was posted 3 hours ago today. Okay? People are bare bonesing their asses out here, and they don't need people like you. We just don't need people like you. We just don't need people like you. All right. When she paid her tab, she rounded up the next dollar, leaving me with a 48-cent tip on a 140-plus bill. How much did you spend at a small town bar and grill, and you spent 140 bucks? Unless you bought everything for the entire... I'm assuming she probably paid for everything on the entire table, because that takes some effort to do. Unless you're there drinking all night. That's not easy to do. I returned her change, looked her in the eyes, and said, clearly you need this more than I do. I hope life gets better for you. I wouldn't count that as talking back, but I'm a filthy millennial who apparently is entitled. So I've worked food industry, I've worked retail, and I've been a teacher. The things you want to say to people, the little, like, flowery messages you want to leave at the table. Should she have said it? Probably not. Am I glad she said it? Yes. And the wording she put it, I don't think she could have said anything nicer. Should she have said it? No. But she screamed at me again, calling me a bitch and yelling to fellow patrons at the bar seats, stating she will never return because of me. After the adrenaline wore down, I began to feel as if my emotions got the best of me and I probably could have handled the situation better. She never called the restaurant to complain or anything, but I did tell the manager and my boss, who was also the owner, about the situation. They just laughed. And I faced no repercussions. Outsider POV and advice is very appreciated. Am I the asshole? Do I think you're the asshole? No, not at all. And I think the fact that you went to your manager and your boss and was like, this is the situation that happened. Here's what I said. Here's what went down. Granted, I don't know if you told your boss and the manager the whole truth. I don't know your life. I don't know your story. I don't know your milk to cereal ratio. But I think that lady was either having a shitty day or was just being a shitty person. And I think your comeback to her was absolutely hilarious. Tip your servers. Tip your wait staff. Okay? If you cannot afford to pay the tip, you cannot afford to go out to eat, don't do it. Don't you do it. I will come after you and steal your shoes. Am I the asshole for not inviting my brother's ex-girlfriend to my wedding? Why would you? Your brother's ex-girlfriend? Why would you? Oh, you are long. Oh, buckle up, kids. Saddle in. Okay, I'm genuinely struggling with this one. I'm very sorry. After 5 years ago, me, 29 female, brother, 32 male, and his ex-girlfriend, 28 female, broke up after a 3-year relationship. They lived together, and he mentioned on multiple occasions he wanted to marry her. He and I became extremely close during the relationship, and I would have considered her one of my best friends. We were really close and developed a genuine connection. Oh, that's nice. So close that I told her if I ever got engaged, I wanted her to be a bridesmaid in my wedding. So far seems reasonable. That's what happens when you get close to people, and sometimes you get close, you fan apart, you get close. As time moves on, not everybody does this, but there's always like younger people that dream about their weddings and stuff like that. Your party, should you decide to have one, is going to change 6 times at least by the time you decide to get married. Like actually have like your ceremony and stuff like that. Should you decide to. Not a lot of people have to, and not a lot of people do. Take that, societal norms. However, she ended up breaking up with him to move to another state for a career change, and he was absolutely devastated. We kept in contact, and I went to visit her a couple times in her new state with my brother's permission. But we, of course, slowly started speaking less and less over the last 5 years. Sure, people grow apart. Happens. Especially with your family's ex. It just happens naturally. Nothing, it just happens. Fast forward to today, my brother is married to another woman, and him and his wife have a 1-year-old. Oh, yay. He's very happy, and him and his wife are doing great. I got engaged to my boyfriend, and the wedding is in 8 months. Aw, joys all around. Well, long story short, my brother's ex and I were randomly catching up one day, and I told her I got engaged. She said she was excited and couldn't wait to be in the wedding. I told her that I hope she could understand that I didn't find it appropriate for her to go now that my brother is married with a child. I told her it would be disrespectful to his wife and would make for an uncomfortable situation for him and her. Not to mention, I want my wedding day to be drama-free and about my fiancé and me. If that's the wording you used, I think you did it in an excellent way. Bold of her to assume that she's in the wedding. She blew up on me and essentially told me I was a bad person. She couldn't believe I wasn't allowing her to be there for one of her best friend's most important days. She accused me of dwindling her down to just my brother's ex and not a human being who's been there for me over the last 5 years. No matter how much I tried to explain my reasoning, she wasn't hearing it. Okay. Last thing she said to me is that she's going to the wedding or our friendship is over. I told her I wasn't changing my mind. Am I the asshole for putting my brother and his wife's comfort before our friendship? Oh, hang on. Edit. Should mention I did talk to my brother and his wife about it first, and they said to do what I wanted to do, but they would probably ignore her. So I made the decision what I thought was best, and the decision I would have wanted if I were in my brother's wife's shoes. Also should mention we are having a fairly small wedding where it would be hard to avoid each other. Do I think you're the asshole for putting your brother's feelings above your friendship with this person whom you made clear that you guys were speaking less and less over 5 years? You really didn't see each other anymore. You really didn't talk that much anymore. You didn't have the relationship that you once had, essentially. And plus, your brother has like a whole separate life from this person. So somebody popping in and assuming that they're going to be a part of everything after not being a part of everything, bold, somewhat reasonable, but altogether incorrect. She started making it about her, and I understand she's hurt. This is a tough one. Do I think you're the asshole for going with your gut? No. I think you made the right decision. I think it's a delicate decision, and it was a tough choice. Am I the asshole for humiliating my cousin at a family dinner? What did you do? I, 19 male, have a sister, Aria, 16 female. I also have a cousin, Kat, 22 female. Kat has been trying to get into college ever since she graduated from high school, but it just wasn't happening. She got rejected from every college she applied to. She finally got into a college this year. Aria is graduating this year. I'm assuming high school. She has already been accepted into college, so she will be starting this year. They will both be going to the same college. Okay, cool, whatever. Everything happens in its own way, right? Like everything happens when it's meant to happen. Some people, it's easier to get into college. I had friends getting into college that they got accepted into like almost every school they wanted to go to. I sort of got rejected by one and was accepted into another, but then I was able to get into the other one. It's not easy. It is not easy to do. Plus, like, who gives a shit? When you want to go to college, go to college. Who cares how old you are when you want to go? Who cares how old you are when you get in? Who cares? It's college. College is college is college. It's not going anywhere. Last week was my grandpa's birthday. My parents, Arya, and I were at his place with Kat and her family, along with another uncle's family. Not important. Good to know that you put it in the story and then told me it wasn't important. At dinner, Grandpa started asking Arya about her plans for college. Arya told him that she will be staying on campus. Kat chimes in about how colleges should stop accepting students who graduate early. Note that graduating early is a pretty common thing here. She then directly attacked Arya, saying it wasn't fair that she had to share college experience with immature babies, and how pearl clutchers steal the limited number of seats available from the people who work hard to go to college. Oh. Oh, you up. Oh, you up. So I thought it was weird that Arya was graduating high school at 16. It is possible. I've seen it happen, but you have to basically forego anything fun left in high school and just punch out all of your classes. It's possible. I don't know how I feel about a 16-year-old going to a college, staying in the dorms. That's a bit odd for me, considering that almost everybody else there is 18 plus. Bad things happen to good people, so I don't know how I would feel about that per se. She then indirectly called my sister a self-centered brat. I mean, Arya and Kat barely are ever in the same room, so it's not like my sister always steals the spotlight from Kat. This wasn't the first time Kat accused Arya of being self-centered. My sister looked close to tears, so I literally said to Kat that the only self-centered immature baby in the room was her. She didn't say anything but got quiet for the rest of the night. Arya was happy that I defended her, but I got a nasty message from Kat's parents the next day saying that I should apologize to Kat for humiliating her. I said no. They have since been calling my parents, trying to make them get me to apologize. My parents are on my side, but when I was venting about it to my girlfriend, she said I should have confronted Kat in private instead of making her look stupid in front of the family. So I should just apologize. Was I wrong? Do I think you should have confronted her in front of the whole family? No. I have been in that situation where people have confronted each other in front of the whole family, and it's less family rallying than you think it is. You're more of making everybody else uncomfortable. Everybody else in the room gets uncomfortable about the situation, then nobody wants to talk about it anymore. It's one of those things, like, you know, we don't talk about Bruno. But it definitely, like, Kat needed to be, based on what I'm reading, Kat needed to be taken down a peg. In front of the whole family, not really. Just because that's uncomfortable for everyone, and that's why it's going to create an issue between your parents and her parents. It's a whole mess. It's a whole thing. Families are sticky. Families are sticky and tricky and all kinds of crap. I don't think you defending your sister was the bad thing. And I don't think calling Kat out on her bullshit is a bad thing either. I think saying it in front of the family was a bad idea. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, ring-a-ding the bell so you know when stuff is coming up, and I will see you in the next video. Okay, bye.